How's it going, everybody? My name's Avid, and today we are at the Lost Dwarven Civilization of Invalid, and we are going to learn about combination locks and state machines. Let's get inside. There are clues left all over this dungeon. For instance, red, blue, green, yellow. Okay, press red, blue, green, yellow. They hear a distant doorway open, and that is the foundation of combination locks. We're going to do combination locks with command blocks. So in order to understand how that actually works, we need to first understand a basic concept of command blocks, which is that we can run a command block, right, with redstone, and this command block is a tell raw command that says an incredibly important message. And then we can also take that command block, clone it somewhere else, and all of the contents of that command block, the command is going to be the same, and it's going to work exactly the same. And this is the foundation for building state machines and combination locks using these command blocks. So in this example, we are going to have a 3-button combination lock to open up that door back there. And if you stick around for the video, things are going to get more complicated, but we're just going to start with this one as an example. So we have 3 template command blocks. So these builds will always require you to have command blocks that are just templated somewhere else that then get cloned to other parts of your dungeon. That's the best part about this. So the first command block here, all it does is it clones this green command block over to this location. Then the green command block clones the red command block over to this location. And then the red command block takes and fills a redstone block right underneath the door, and that will open the door. Now, I don't recommend filling a redstone block under the door. That's not very aesthetically pleasing, but that is one way that you can go about it. So when you click on the blue command block, it teleports or clones over the green command block to this location. Players run through the dungeon, they press the next command block, that teleports the red command block to the final position, they press the final button, and voila, the door is opened. Now, let's make things a little more complicated. So I like to make my dungeons repeatable. So what that means is they clean up after themselves. And here we've made quite the mess. We have these 2 command blocks now that are just sitting here, and players are gonna be really confused if one person went through the dungeon and the dungeon, didn't reset itself. So when the players go through this door here, I've issued a series of commands that are going to clean up after ourselves. The first command here is going to play a sound because I love sounds. I think sounds should be a part of your adventure maps always, and there's so many ways to use them. The next command here is going to set the block underneath the door back to this white concrete I'm using. And then this command here is going to fill this space with air. So these command blocks are going to go away. So let's see what happens when I walk through this door. Plays that bell sound, and now the dungeon has totally reset itself. And if players come back and they want to get back in, they're going to have to use this series of commands to walk through the door, and then the dungeon resets itself. So that's the first layer of complexity, but the next layer is going to be punishing players who get the order wrong. Okay, so let's add some kind of penalty to this door opening sequence. So that way, if players accidentally get the wrong code, then they are going to be penalized for it. So the way that I have that working is I've created a 4th, not state, but I've created a 4th template back here that I have labeled with this black wool block. And all this is going to do is it's going to play this really loud kind of explosion sound. It's then going to give the player a little bit of damage, and it's going to turn a block into redstone block. And specifically what block is going to be turned is this gold block over here. So essentially when that command runs and this block gets turned into redstone, we reset the entire puzzle. So that way, if they get one of the numbers or one of the order wrong, then the puzzle resets and they take a little bit of damage. So let's go ahead and hit the reset button. And now we can see here that those commands are cloned in. So the reset button got a little longer as well. We basically, once we fill that area with air, we are then going to clone in this kind of failure condition into that first slot over there, and we're gonna clone it again into the second slot there. So that's what we have, is we have the 2 clone commands. And so for each switch or each button in your combination lock, you would clone in one of these failure conditions. So if I'm just playing through the dungeon and I correctly get the first one, then the second one is ready for me. But let's say then I don't get the second one right, and oh no. So I hear a sound, I get instant damage, presumably. I'll check that out in adventure mode in a second. And then the whole thing gets reset. So now I have to go back to the first one, and then if I get the second one right, the third one opens, the door is open, and the whole thing resets itself for the next player. All right, so if you know me, you know that I never just stop at the tutorial. I love coming up with crazy ideas based on the simple basics that you learn in the tutorial. So this time I've come up with a combination lock that is controlled by target blocks, and specifically we can use snowballs to turn on the different pieces of the combination lock. So let's take a quick look behind the scenes and I'll show you a little bit of what's going on here. So I know it looks a little complicated, but it really is all the same basic building blocks as our design over there. So really quickly, we have 5 different states this time instead of 3, which is the only major difference. Our failure state is only 1 block, and that's because it just turns a block into a redstone block. That block happens to be this fail block here, which then does a couple of things. So this is a function call. So if you guys have seen my other videos, this is how you create a function, is you basically create a gold block here that indicates the start of a function. You turn it into redstone, it runs a bunch of stuff, and then at the very top, you set that block back to a gold block so that it can be called again. So in this case, our failure state makes a really horrible sound. It's then going to spawn lightning on top of me. It's going to give me a message that says try again, and then it's going to call the reset function. And then the reset function here, all that does is it clears all of the existing commands that are up there. It's going to clear all of these success redstone blocks. So see right now we have 1 success redstone block. That's how we turned on the lamp right in front of it. And then that also runs a couple of commands here. These commands will, 1, clone the very next state. So if you notice here, now the orange state is ready to be turned on. And then it will also then clone the failure state to all of the other states to make sure that they can't be used again. So that's pretty cool, is basically if I were to hit the yellow block again, now it's cloned the failure state. So what happens here is when I go to clone it, yeah, all right, I'm on fire, yeah. So just because you hit the yellow state the first time doesn't mean you can hit it again, because we've cloned the failure state onto it, which is pretty neat. So the very last thing is a surprise, but you're going to see that once we get the entire order correct. So let's go ahead and try that. So I'm gonna put myself into adventure mode here, just so I can take the damage, and I have to remember, I forget if it's red or green. Oh God, okay, it was not red. All right, let's let's try that again. I'm pretty sure it's blue, red, yes. Yay! And then we walk through our door here, it resets itself, and the puzzle is ready to go again. So this is all it takes to make a really simple but beautiful combination lock with just a handful of command blocks. And then of course you can always add the different styles and flares, sounds, fireworks, whatever you want, but that's the basics of it. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. If you liked this content, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more of this content in the future, please hit that subscribe button. It helps out a whole lot. If you have any ideas for more command block creations, leave them down in the comments. I love your ideas. I've used them before in the past to come up with videos, so please let me know, and I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.